Yeah, I mean, when I'm listening to you talk about the type of man that women want, and the fact that if he's too much of a pushover, too sensitive, too much of a walkover,
Yeah.
they lose respect. They may cheat.
They may cheat. And from my work, what I've noticed is women fall in love in 3 stages. And if any of those stages are missing, the relationship will either break down very quickly or it will break down very slowly, but it will break down. And I call it the 3 A's, and I have like a program on it. The first thing is women have to be truly attracted to their man in order for the relationship to actually turn into love at some stage. There has to be physical attraction, because naturally that fades with time and, with so much familiarity. If we don't have that to begin with, it can become very difficult to start a romantic relationship. This is why we have so many friends, so many male friends, because if we're not truly attracted to him, even if he's wonderful, we can't start a romantic relationship. So I always say it starts with attraction. The second stage for a woman to truly fall in love with a man, she has to admire who he is. And what that means is, with or without her influence, he's just a man that she admires. He's got a great job. He's got a good network of friends. He's got lots of self-control. He's not an addict and he's not addicted. He's got good level of self-control in terms of money, his body, his sexual behavior. It's not all over the place. So she truly admires him. And then once she's attracted and admires him, then she needs adoration from him. He needs to show her, adore her, reassure her, all of those things. If she gets all 3 of those, chances are that relationship won't break down. But if any of those are missing, maybe he adores her, absolutely adores her, but she's not truly attracted to him, at some stage the relationship will break down, because that adoration will feel like neediness. Or let's say, for example, she's truly attracted to him and he's giving her lots of reassurance, but he's not an admirable man. He's not working, he's not achieving, he's not doing a lot, even though she might love him and it might be a slow breakdown, but at some stage she'll need someone she can admire, particularly when she has children. So without those 3 ingredients, I don't think women realize this, but if any of those are missing, they will at some stage lose interest.
That's a great 3-step formula. And I think so much of the time we get so hooked on the attraction part.
Yes, yeah.
That we overvalue it compared to the other 2. So if he's not 6'4" and he's not got, a particular colored hair or eyes, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like the physical appearance becomes so much more overvalued than the other 2.
Yeah.
Or the admiration piece becomes so overvalued. So if he's not making enough money, he's not. How do you kind of look at them as, are they equal? Are they overvalued?
They're actually equal. They're actually equal. If you have lots of physical attraction, you admire him lots, but he's not showing you any admiration, that will literally turn into a toxic relationship. You'll be begging for hugs and kisses and he won't give it to you. You'll be begging for him to give you compliments. He won't give it to you, but you'll be stuck because you're like, I know he's a good man. So many women come to me and say, I know he's a good man. He's got a great job. He's so good at his work. All his friends love him. She admires him and she's attracted to him, but he doesn't adore her. She suffers a lot. He will start rejecting her sexually. He doesn't remind her she's beautiful. She feels so invisible around him, but she's stuck because she's like, on paper, he's a great man. So she's got 2 of those ingredients. Other times, and this is where the nice guy suffers, she's got so much adoration, so much reassurance. He loves her. He adores her. He's a good man, but she's just not attracted to him. And she's pushing herself to really love him, but she just simply can't find the physical attraction. And then she kind of gaslights herself and be like, am I an evil person? How can I not love him? There's nothing wrong with you. It's just those 3 ingredients. If they're not there, and I know it sounds like we're being super fussy, but it doesn't have to be super fussy. My husband's no oil painting. It's not that. It's just the fact that I am attracted. It's as simple as that. And it doesn't mean he's cured cancer. I just admire the person he is. That's all it is. He doesn't have to be extreme. It's just that I've got attraction and admiration and the adoration. You just need your level of that. Missing those ingredients is either a quick end because it will be toxic. He's just not giving you the love you need, or it'll be a slow one because you're not truly attracted. But either way, it will break down.
I think the key part of that is, though, what you just said in regards to your own husband, is it's about how you feel.
That's all.
And I think the challenge, going back to what we were talking about earlier, is so many of our expectations of our partner are based on, like, do my friends like them?
Yeah.
Do they have a good, online presence? Are they like successful at their job compared to, and it's like, you can only look at it through your angle,
your own
because
lens.
you could compare forever, and no matter how successful your partner is, they'd always be second to someone else out there in the world.
Especially in this day and age, they always look, not everybody's going to have a husband that is great at writing poems and singing songs about them, but he still adores you in his way. And that works for you. You don't, and you know, sometimes some girls will be like, oh my God, you go 50-50 with your husband. I could never. But if that works in your marriage and you're both doing the best you can, that's perfect. Like, it's totally fine. You don't have to compare yourself to the standards that have been hijacked by TikTok memes. Just as long as it works for you, no problem. But if you miss those ingredients, unfortunately, at some stage, you'll realize that the relationship is not quite working. And doesn't mean you become extra fussy. It just means you pay attention to this and you figure out which of those is missing and try and work on that. Maybe the adoration is missing. Try and work on that. Maybe the attraction is missing. There's nothing wrong with telling your partner, babe, I would love it if we start working out together. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But if we miss those things and then we ignore the resolution, unfortunately, our relationships will suffer.
I think that's my favorite checklist I've ever heard.
It's simple, but it works.
No, but it's simple, but it's really powerful because it's not just a random checklist. It's things you could actually observe in how you feel. And you're right, it's all three.
It's just all three.
Because often the admiration piece just overclouds the other stuff. And I always say to someone, you're not marrying someone's resume.
Yeah.
You're not dating someone's bank balance.
And I, because I live in Dubai, I see this a lot. They'll meet a CEO, he's an entrepreneur, and he pays all the bills, and he's fantastic. He really is fantastic at that. But either she's not attracted to him or he's too busy to give her any adoration. At some stage, you'll crave it. If we could just do one and just live a relationship on one, I would tell women to just focus on one. Some men are better at doing one. They're just physically attracted and they're kind of happy with that. But it's an empty lie. But I think for women, we really crave all three of them. Outside of that, honestly, it doesn't matter. If he buys you flowers every day, if he writes you poems, if he makes TikToks with you or not, they really don't matter. Just have those three, you'll be fine, God willing.
So those are the 3 A's for women. Yeah. What about for men?
It's the 3 L's, I call it, for men. The first one is they do need some lust. I know it sounds really shallow, but if they're not sexually attracted to you, no matter how wonderful you are, no matter what the relationship is like, especially in this day and age where they're saturated with porn, they will shift their attention elsewhere. So there has to be some level of lust. And what I mean by lust is they're attracted to you, but there's sexual connection between you. There's synergy in that area. The second thing, and I think men don't realize this, is that they need some labor invested in their partner. And what I mean by that is emotional and financial labor invested in their partner. Some men will think, oh, she's successful. She doesn't need any financial investment, or she doesn't need any emotional. She's strong. They just need it. The moment they invest in a woman, they're more likely to see that relationship go through. If he's not taking her anywhere, not doing anything for her, if the relationship ends, he's not bothered. But if he's invested in her, he's taken on places, he's bought a few things, he's invested emotionally and financially to her, he's more likely to want to see that relationship work out. And the final thing is the loyalty. If they don't become loyal and there's no loyalty in that relationship and they've got their options open, they're not truly in love. They need those 3 things in order for them to truly be in love. They need to firstly have some lust, put some labor into that relationship, and then they need to be loyal. If they say that I'm in love with you, but I'm not loyal, truly they're missing something. They
need to feel loyal. They
need it reciprocated. If you're not loyal to them and they still love you, they're stuck in the lust stage. They need reciprocated loyalty in order for it to be truly a healthy relationship. And then they're fine after that.
They're fine.
We don't care about them. They'll be fine.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking about I feel like you've totally reframed what people should be looking for.
Can I ask you though, because I might be wrong, for a man's perspective, is that correct or not really? Is there something that you would say that you need a little bit more or less of?
Let me think on that. It's a great question.
Because what I'm trying to say is that because sometimes I meet men and they meet a wonderful woman. They've put a lot of energy, invested a lot into her. They're very loyal to each other, but because there's no attraction left,
of course,
they turn to pornography too much. That is a very slippery slope. And I that's why a little bit they need some lust in there first and foremost before those other properties can be valued in a woman.
Well, I mean, it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You told us why women cheat.
Yeah.
This is why men cheat.
Yeah, unfortunately,
right?
It's a big factor. And I know we like to think that people cheat simply because they're narcissists and simply because they're like that. There are some men that come that way. There are some men that genuinely, no matter who they're with, no matter what the relationship is, they're too broken to be faithful. They feel uncomfortable being faithful. They're going to cheat on everyone. But a lot of the time, they are deprived of intimacy. Yeah, either because they just didn't choose a woman that was attracted to them to begin with, or they ruin the intimacy by inviting too much pornography or alternatives into the relationship, and now they've got no intimacy left with their partner. But when they do lose the intimacy, they lose the motivation to be loyal. loyal. They think they're more likely to be loyal to a woman that gives them good intimacy than a woman that gives them a good life, because they think their motivation to be loyal decreases as their sexual intimacy dies in their relationship. So they're more likely to be open to it. So I always tell people, try and guard your marriage by embedding the intimacy in it as regularly as you can.
What is the 3M method?
This is a program that I'm launching actually very soon. And here what I do is I teach men just 3 factors on how to have really healthy relationships. First one is mastering yourself. You can never have a healthy relationship without a healthy relationship with yourself. Without self-esteem and self-confidence, there is no point dating. Then you have to master women. Now, women speak a completely different language and men believe them. What they say they want and what they unconsciously reward are completely different. And the final thing is mastering relationships, where you understand communication, conflict resolution, how do relationships work. If you come out of a relationship and you had good memories, good years and beautiful kids, it's not a failure. It's relationships you're coming out of it with lowered self-esteem, broken homes, depression, anxiety, those are the failures. And that's where I come in with relationship skills.